All right, shalom, brothers and sisters, once again. This is Solid Foundation, Israelite Academy 2020, bringing you guys another awesome lesson on tonight. I know it's pretty late. I'm going to get in with this lesson and get out. I am your host, Shabar Judah Israel, and to my left-hand side,
Judith by Israel.
All right, guys, and tonight we're going to be bringing forth this lesson. The topic of discussion is a fallen. I'm doing a recap on the fallen angel hoax. You understand? This is a recap lesson on the fallen angel hoax. You know what I'm saying? Many say in Genesis chapter 6 that there are fallen angels that fell from the heavens to sexually procreate with the daughters of man. And I'm going to prove that by using the scriptures. I'm going to prove that that's not correct. Once again, many believe that in Genesis chapter 6, in the 6th chapter of Genesis in the Bible, many believe that there were fallen angels that fell from heaven, or you may say they came from heaven to sexually procreate with the daughters of man, and that's definitely wrong. It's horrible, guys. And I'm going to show you that in Genesis chapter 6, there were no fallen angels, period. You understand? And so the topic of discussion is, I'm doing a recap lesson on the fallen angel hoax. All right, guys. So be sure to share this video with family and friends. All right. Just be sure to share this video with family and friends. You can take notes if you will. What you will need for this lesson, you're going to need the Apocryphal books, the 14 books that was taken out the Bible during the 18th century, and you will also need just an original King James Bible. Okay, so you will need an original King James Bible for this lesson. So once again, what you will need, these are the tools, what you will need for this lesson. You will need the King James Bible, along with the Apocryphal books, which was taken from the King James Bible in the 18th century. And just a composition book to take notes with a pen or a pencil. All right, guys. So I'm about to get into it. I'm going to expound on the book, chapter, and verses. And Sister Judith, she will be the reader on tonight for you guys. All right. So we see Aaron Walker Jr. is tuned in. Joshua Bussey is tuned in. And also Terry Johnson is tuned in. Thank you guys for sacrificing your time to be a part of this wonderful lesson. Guys, please share this video with family and friends. So I'm going to prove once and for all. I did a video before on this, and I'm doing a review lesson, a recap lesson on the fallen angel hoax. I'm going to prove to you guys in Genesis chapter 6, it's not talking about fallen angels that came down to earth to sexually procreate with women. It's not talking about that. So let's get it. Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. And I'm going to pan the camera in as she began to read. So, guys, so you can see exactly where we are at. So this is Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. Okay, so here we go. Wait a minute. All right, go ahead.
All right. Genesis chapter 6, verse 1 says, "And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them."
Okay, this Genesis chapter 6, verse 2. Go ahead.
"That the sons of God,"
No, that the fallen angels.
that the sons of God,
Angels.
the sons of God,
It says the sons of God. Go ahead.
"saw the daughters of man, that they were fair.
Meaning that there was very beautiful women during that time on the earth. Go ahead.
And they took them wives, of which they chose."
So Genesis chapter 6, verse 2 says fallen angels took daughters of man? Or did it say the sons of God took daughters of man? Which one?
The sons of God.
So in Genesis chapter 6, verse 2, it says that the sons of God saw daughters of man and that they were fair and they took them wives. So guys, Genesis chapter 6, verse 2 says that the sons of God saw the daughters of man. It did not say fallen angels. I don't see fallen angels nowhere in that book, chapter, and verse. It says the sons of God saw the daughters of man, and they was fair, meaning they was very beautiful, and they took them wives of whom they chose. But the Christian church and many other religious institutions, they would say, oh, there was fallen angels. There was angels that fell from heaven, and they came down to the earth and had sex with many women on the earth. Come on, guys. Come on, man. Do you really read your Bibles? Because if you read your Bibles, you will know that's foolishness. That is nonsense. All right, guys? There were no fallen angels to ever fall from heaven and come to earth to have sex with the daughters of man. That's not in the Bible, guys. So whoever telling you that, they don't know the Bible and never will. That's why you got to humble down and you got to see for yourself truly on what the scriptures are saying. You understand? Now, if you still want to say in Genesis chapter 6 that there was fallen angels that fell from heaven to sexually procreate with man, I'm going to show you something, guys. Let's go to Hebrews. Watch this. Let's go to Hebrews and what did you say? Let's go to Hebrews chapter 1 and start with verse 13 in the Bible. Hebrews chapter 1 verse 13. And I'm going to pan in so you guys can see what sis is reading from. Hebrews chapter 1 and we'll start with verse 13. Okay, so here we go, guys. Watch this. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 1, and we'll start them with verse 13. Now read from 13 on down. Watch this.
All right. It says, but to which of the angels said he at any time, sit on my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool? Verse 14, are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation?
Now we can see right here in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 13, it says, but to which of the angels said he at any time, sit on my right hand? So he never told the angels to sit on his right hand. Who he told to sit on his right hand was the Messiah, Yahweh Shai, who you call Jesus Christ. That's the only man that was capable of sitting on the right hand of God, Jesus Christ, who we know as Yahweh Shai. But in Hebrews 1 and 13, it says he never told the angels at any time to sit on his right hand. Now watch this. I'm going to tell you something else. Look at Hebrews chapter 1, verse 5. This is Hebrews chapter 1, verse 5. Now watch this. Read that.
It says, for unto which of the angels said he at any time, thou art my son?
It says, when did God ever call the angels at any time his son? For unto which of the angels said he at any time, thou art my son? This day I have begotten thee, and again I will be to him a father, and he shall be to me a son. So the Most High, basically never called the angels at any time his son. This is Hebrews chapter 1 verse 5. For unto which of the angels said he at any time, thou art my son, and this day I begotten thee? That's a question. So when did God ever call the holy angels of the Bible his son? You see that? And when did he say that he begotten them? So in other words, guys, the Most High never called the angels his son. He never called the holy angels, the celestial beings. He never called the angels his son. So if you want to say Genesis chapter 6 verse 2, when you go back in Genesis chapter 6 verse 2, it says the sons of God saw the daughters of man and took them. Now, we know these sons of God can't be angels. You know why? Because in Hebrews chapter 1 verse 5, it said that he never called the angels at any time his son. All right? You see that? So we know in Genesis chapter 6 verse 2, when it says the sons of God saw the daughters of man and they took whom they chose. We know in Genesis chapter 6 verse 2, when it says sons of God, these sons of God cannot be angels. Why? Because we showed you in Hebrews chapter 1 verse 5 that God never called the angels his son at any time. So who are exactly these sons of God in Genesis chapter 6 verse 2 if the Most High never called the angels his son at any time? Who are the sons of God in Genesis 6 verse 2? We're going to show you. You see that, guys? That's why you can't say that in Genesis chapter 6 it's talking about angels. Judith, read Genesis 6 and 2 once again.
All right. It says that the sons of God.
Now, wait a minute. It says that the sons of God.
Mm-hmm.
In Hebrews chapter 1 verse 5, we already showed you that God never called the angels his sons at any time. So you know these ain't angels. The sons of God did what?
Saw the daughters of men that they were fair. And they took them wives of which they chose.
And they took them wives
of all which they chose.
Of which they chose. Now, who are these sons of God? These sons of God, they are the descendants of Adam and Eve's son, Seth. And I'm going to show you. So let's back up. Let's go to Genesis. We're still in the book of Genesis. And go back when Seth was born. Let's go back and let's see when Seth was born. Let's go to Genesis chapter 4, verse 1. And we about to identify who are these sons of God in Genesis chapter 6 that took these daughters who they chose. Because they was not angels. All right? So, let's go to Genesis chapter 4 and begin with verse 1.
All right, Genesis chapter 4, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And Adam knew Eve, his wife.
Adam knew Eve. When it says Adam knew Eve, that means Adam sexually procreated with Eve. Go ahead.
And she conceived.
She conceived. She got pregnant. Go ahead.
And bare Cain.
And she brought forth Cain, which is her first son. Go ahead.
And said, I have gotten a man from the Lord.
So you can see that Eve, a son that she brought forth was Cain. Go ahead. Read Genesis 4 verse 2.
All right. And she again bare his brother Abel.
So Eve ends up having another son by the name of Abel, which was Cain's younger brother. Go ahead.
And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground.
Okay. Now, you can see in Genesis chapter 4 that Eve had two sons thus far. One name was Cain, the other name was Abel. Now, you guys should know what happened to Abel. What did Cain eventually do to Abel? Cain ends up killing Abel because he was jealous of his younger brother, because the Lord accepted Abel's sacrifice, but he did not accept Cain's. So Cain ends up luring his brother out into an open field, killing his brother. We know that story. We know that Cain killed Abel. So when Cain killed Abel, after Cain killed Abel, did Eve ever have another child? Exactly. And I'm going to show you. So after Cain killed Abel, I'm going to show you this. After Cain killed Abel, Eve had another child to replace Abel because he was dead. Now watch this. Now, here we go. Read, this is Genesis chapter 4, verse 25. Watch this. So after Cain kills Abel, Eve eventually ends up having another son to replace Abel. Now this is Genesis 4 and 25. Watch this.
All right. Genesis chapter 4, verse 25. And Adam knew his wife again.
See?
And she bare a son and called his name Seth.
Call his name Seth. Seth means appointed. Okay, go ahead.
For For God said, she hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew.
See that? So you see it right there for yourself. So Adam knew his wife again. Because remember, Adam and Eve, they had Cain and Abel. Then Cain kills Abel. So Adam knew his wife again, had sex with Eve again. And she bare a third son. And they called his name Seth. Seth was born to replace Abel that Cain killed. For God said, for God said she had appointed me another seed instead of Abel, who Cain slew. You see that? Now read Genesis 4:26.
And to Seth, to him also, there was born a son, and he called his name Enos.
So let's focus on Seth. So every man that came after Seth, you see what I'm saying? All Seth descendants, the men that came out of Seth bloodline, they was known as sons of God. They was known as sons of God. All the men that descended out of the bloodline of Seth, they was known as sons of God. These are the same men that we reading about in Genesis chapter 6 who took the daughters of man to sexually procreate with them. It was not talking about angels, guys. Because we showed you in Hebrews chapter 1 verse 5 that God never called the angels his son at any time. So who in the hell are these sons of God that took the daughters of man in Genesis chapter 6 verse 2? They are the descendants of Seth. Because Seth, which was Adam and Eve's third son, after Seth was born, Seth had many children as well, Enos being Seth's first child. So any man that descended out of the bloodline of Seth was called the sons of God. You see what I'm saying? Better yet, you can say Sethites. They was called the sons of God that came out of Seth's bloodline. Now let me show you. Let's continue on. So you can see right here in Genesis chapter 4, Genesis chapter 4 verse 26, and to Seth, to him also was born, and he called his name Enos. So Enos was known as a son of God. Then man began to call upon the name of the Lord. And then it goes in Genesis chapter 5, and it tells you this is the book of the generations of Adam. And the day that God created man in the likeness, God made he him. So now guys, I'm going to give you a rundown to show you all the sons of God in the Bible. So now watch this. Now read Genesis chapter 5 verse 3, because this deals with the book of the generations of Adam. Matter of fact, start with Genesis chapter 5 verse 1.
All right. Verse 1 says, this is the book of the generations of Adam.
Go ahead.
In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him.
Now read verse 2.
Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam.
So that lets you know that Adam wasn't the only one. Adam was not just one man. You understand? Go ahead.
In the day when they were created.
Now watch this. Read on. Read verse 3.
Verse 3. And Adam lived 130 years, and begat a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth.
Remember we were talking about Seth? Seth was Adam and Eve's third son, because Cain killed Abel. So Abel was replaced with Seth, right? Now watch this. Read Genesis 5 and 4.
And the days of Adam, after he had begotten Seth, were 800 years.
Now skip down to verse 6. Watch this.
Verse 6. And Seth lived 105 years, and begot Enos.
See that? So all these men that we calling that came out of Seth bloodline, all these men that we're about to call, these were known as sons of God. So Enos was known as the sons of God, because Enos was on one of Seth's sons. Now go to Genesis chapter 5 verse 9.
All right, it say, and Enos lived 90 years and begat Canaan.
So Canaan was known as the son of God. Now go to Genesis 5 verse 12.
And Canaan lived 70 years and begat Mahalalel.
Mahalalel was known as the sons of God. Now watch this. Go to verse 15.
15. And Mahalalel lived 65 years and begat Jared.
So Jared was known as the son of God. You see that? Now go to Genesis 5 and 18.
18. And Jared lived in 160 and 2 years, and he begot Enoch.
Now Enoch was known as the sons of God. Now go to Genesis 5 and 21.
All right. And Enoch lived 60 and 5 years.
Enoch lived 60 and 5 years. Go ahead.
And begot Methuselah.
Methuselah was known as the sons of God. Go to Genesis 5 and 25.
And Methuselah lived in 187 years, and begot Lamech.
Lamech was known as the son of God. Now go to Genesis 5 and 29.
It says, and he called his name Noah, saying, this same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed.
So we just showed you guys. Listen. So listen, guys. So we just showed you guys all these descendants that came from Seth. Remember, Adam and Eve, first child was Cain. Adam and Eve, second child was who? Abel. What happens to Abel? Cain kills Abel. So God allowed Eve to become pregnant again and had a third son by the name of Seth to replace Abel because he was killed by Cain. And after Seth grew older. Seth became a young man, and Seth eventually married this woman. And after Seth, after Seth married his woman, Seth began to have children. Starting from Seth, going all the way down from Seth bloodline, all these men that we called out in the Bible. I'm going to do it again. Seth had a son named Enos. They was known as sons of God. Seth, then it says, and Enos begat Canaan. Then it says, and Canaan begat Mahalalel. Then it says, and Mahalalel begat Jared. And then it says that and Jared begat Enoch. And then it says that and Enoch begat Methuselah. And then it says that Methuselah begat Lamech. And then it goes all the way down, and it says that Lamech had a son by the name of Noah, the one that built the ark. So we can see, starting from Seth bloodline, going all the way down, these men was called sons of God. So when you read Genesis chapter 6, and it tells you that the sons of God saw the daughters of man, that they was fair. The sons of God was these patriarchs that came out of Seth bloodline, that eventually did what? They mingled their holy seed among other nations, and they was not supposed to do that. So guys, if you still don't believe the man I just called out are the sons of God, I'm going to show you more proof. If you still don't believe, I'm going to show you more proof on the man that I called out. Now watch this. I'm going to show you more proof. Give me Luke 3 and 38. This is in the New Testament. Luke chapter 3 verse 38. I keep telling you guys, there was no fallen angels that came down from heaven to have sex with the daughters of man. That's not true, guys. That's not true. Genesis 3 and 38. And I'm going to show you that's not true. I'm going to show you in the Bible.
Luke 3.
Yeah, Luke. I'm sorry, guys. Luke chapter 3, verse 38. Now, this is more proof. Luke chapter 3, verse 38. Now, when you go into the book of Luke chapter 3, right? And you go to Luke chapter 3 and verse 23. It speaks about the genealogy of Mary, which was the mother of Christ. So watch I show you this, guys. Genesis 3 and 23. Where you at?
Luke.
I don't know why I keep saying Genesis, guys. I'm sorry. Luke 3 and 23.
Right here.
Now, when you go to the book of Luke chapter 3, verse 23, Luke 3 verse 23, it talks about the genealogy of Mary, which was the mother of Christ, who you call Jesus, who we know as Yahweh. So in Luke 3 and 23, read that.
And Jesus himself began to be about 30 years of age, being as was supposed the son of Joseph.
Now, so when Christ began to preach, he began this ministry at the age of 30. You understand? Because he died at the age of 33. So he only had like 3 years to preach the gospel. So you can see that he began, around the age of 30 when he was preaching, right? And it says that he was the son of Joseph. See that? So that's letting you know that Christ was not immaculately conceived as well, because it says that Joseph was his biological father. He was the son of Joseph, which was the son of Heli. And then Heli, which was what? Which was the son of what? Matthias. Which was the son of Levi, which was the son of Melchi, which was the son of Jana, which was the son of Joseph. Then Luke chapter 3, verse 25, which was the son of Matthias, which was the son of Amos, which was the son, and they go all the way down, guys. What I'm telling you guys, is giving you the genealogy it's giving you Christ's genealogy, basically. It's giving you Christ's genealogy, and it's starting with Christ, and it's backing all the way up, and it's telling you the lineage that Christ. It's telling you Christ's bloodline, his lineage. So it's backing all the way up, and it's saying that Christ is basically saying that Christ came from Joseph, and Joseph came from Heli, and it says, and Heli came from Matthias, and then it says, and Matthias came from Levi, and then it says, which was the son of Melchi. Melchi came from this, and they go all the way down. Now, watch this. We're going to go all the way to 36. And they go all the way down to 36. Now, read 36.
36 says, which was the son of Canaan.
Which
was the son of Arphaxad.
It's going all the way back. Go ahead.
Which was the son of Sem.
That's Shem, which was Noah's son. Go ahead.
Which was the son of Noah.
See, that's going back to Noah. Go ahead.
Which was the son of Lamech.
See that? Go ahead.
Verse 37, which was the son of Methuselah.
Go ahead.
Which was the son of Enoch. Which was the son of Jared. Which was the son of Mahalalel. Which was the son of Canaan. Verse 38, which was the son of Enos. Which was the son of Seth. Which was the son of Adam. Which was the son of God.
You see that? So guess what? From Adam to Seth. See that? When Seth had Enos and all these men, Adam was called the son of God. And then Adam had Seth, and then Seth had Enos, and then then all these guys. Then you had Jared and Enoch and Methuselah and all these guys. Guess what? All those guys was known as the sons of God. All those guys were known as the sons of God. So what the hell is they talking about in Genesis chapter 6? When they say in Genesis chapter 6, the fallen angels came down to have sex with the daughters of man. We just showed you in Genesis chapter 6, it did not say fallen angels. It did not say angels, period. In Genesis chapter 6, it says sons of God. Now, we just gave you a rundown on the sons of God. We just gave you a rundown on the sons of God. Who the sons of God were. And they still keep saying fallen angels came down and had sex with women. Angels don't even marry, because we know that marriage is sex. To marry someone is to have sex with someone, because that's what marriage is. Marriage is sexual intercourse. So we know that the angels don't marry. They don't have sex. So if you're saying in Genesis chapter 6 that angels had sex with women on the earth, that's not true, because angels don't have sex at all. And I'm going to show you this. That's why you got to get out of these religions. That's why you got to get out of religion. Angels don't have sex at all. They don't have sex at all. So stop believing that some angels fell down from heaven and had sex with daughters on the earth. Angels don't have sex at all. Angels don't do that. And I'm going to show you that angels don't have sex. Give me Matthew 22 and 29. Matthew 22 and 29. Angels don't have sex. Angels don't have time to be trying to bump and grind. Why in the hell would an angel need to have sex for?
Right.
Angels don't need to procreate because angels are everlasting energy. Angels are celestial beings. Angels are infinity energy. Angels don't need to have sex because they can live forever. We need to have sex because we are terrestrial beings. We are human beings. We don't live forever as human beings. We eventually grow old and die out. So to keep the bloodline going, we have to have children. Angels don't need that. Angels don't need to procreate because angels are infinite power. They don't need to have children. So why in the hell? What is the necessity of an angel having sex with a woman on the earth?
Right.
That's stupid as hell. Watch this, guys. Come on, man. This is Matthew, and start with the 22nd Matthew the 22nd chapter and start with verse 29.
All right.
Matthew the 22nd chapter, verse 29. All right,
Okay.
go ahead.
And it says, Jesus answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of God.
Yeah, like your pork chop pastor. You understand? Like these wicked ass pastors and these so-called ministers that claim they know this Bible. They err and they don't know the scriptures. They do not know the scriptures nor the power of God. Because if they knew the scriptures and they knew the power of God, they wouldn't be telling you that angels sexually procreated with women on the earth. Ain't no way in hell an angel need to have sex with a woman on the earth. An angel popping a woman on the earth. Just imagine an angel got a woman legs up and he going between her. Just imagine, man. Just think about that. One of God's holy angels.
Right, a heavenly being.
A heavenly being. The heavenly angels. The angels from the heavenly realm. Coming down on earth and bending over a woman and getting them from the back. Angels now. Angels having sex with women on the earth. Do you really think that's what's going on in Genesis chapter 6? Because if you think that's what's going on, you need a mind makeover. You need to have your mind renewed and your spirit renewed and so much renewed. Because that's not what's going on, because angels don't marry. Neither do they have sex. And I'm going to show you this. Matthew the 23rd chapter. Matthew the 22nd chapter. Start with verse 29. Matthew 22 and 29.
29. Jesus answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of God.
Now read Matthew 22 and 30.
For in the resurrection they neither marry, nor are giving in marriage, but are as the angels of God in heaven.
So what did Christ say? Christ says that for in the resurrection they neither marry, nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of God in heaven. So the Messiah is telling you that angels don't have sex. They don't marry. Because let's go back up to get understanding of this. Let's go back up. Now, Matthew 23 and 24. Matter of fact, let's start with Matthew 23 and 22. Let's go back up. Matthew 23. Matthew 22 and 23.
Okay.
So Matthew chapter 22 and the 23rd verse. Then the same day came to him the Sadducees, which say that there is no resurrection. So the Sadducees came to Christ because they don't believe in a resurrection. They believe you only die once. You only live once. Matthew 22 and 24, saying, Master Moses said, if a man dies having no children, his brother shall marry his wife and raise up seed into his brother. Matthew 22 and 25, now there were with us 7 brothers. And the first, when he had married a wife, deceased, and having no issue left his wife into his brother. Matthew 22, 26. Likewise the second also, and the third into the 7th. Matthew 22, 27. And last of all, the woman died also. Matthew 22, 28. Therefore, in the resurrection, whose wife shall she be of the 7? For they all had her. You see what I'm saying? So the Sadducees, they was trying to trap Christ. They was trying to trap Christ to see where his wisdom was. You understand? And they said that there was a particular woman that, basically, she was married to this man, but this man died and didn't leave no children behind. So she married the man's brother, because the man had 7 brothers. Well, the man had 6 brothers. And so she married his brothers, and she went through all his brothers. They died and didn't leave no children behind. And then last but not least, it said that she died. So the Sadducees was asking Christ. They were saying that, well, in the resurrection, you see what I'm saying? In the resurrection, they was telling Christ, they said that, therefore in the resurrection, whose wife shall she be of the 7? For they all had her. See? Matthew 22 and 28. Therefore in the resurrection, whose wife shall she be of the 7? For they all had her. You see, now this is what the Messiah said, Matthew 22:29. Christ answered and said unto them, ye do err not, knowing the scriptures, nor the power of God. Matthew 22:30. For in the resurrection they neither marry. See, and we know what marriage is. Marriage is sex. For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of God in heaven. So it's telling you right there. So Christ is telling you right there. Christ is telling you right there that angels don't marry. And we know that marriage is having sex. That's the real biblical definition of marriage. Marriage is to sexually procreate. But we know that the angels don't marry. So that means that the angels don't have sex. You understand? So it's no way in hell in Genesis chapter 6 that there was angels having sex with the daughters of man on the earth. No. Genesis chapter 6 is talking about the sons of God, the descendants of Seth, the patriarchs, that eventually they went off, they stopped keeping the commandments of God, and they mingled their holy seed among the other daughters, among the other nations that they was not supposed to be doing that with. Genesis chapter 6 is just talking about interracial marriage. How God did not want the sons of God to mingle their holy seed with these other women that was not that appointed nation. See, God, that's why God called them. That's why they was called sons of God. They was called sons and daughters of God, because that was the appointed nation that came out of Seth bloodline that God did not want them to mingle their seed among. See what I'm saying? So God did not want the sons of God to cross over and mingle their seed among the other nations that was not appointed. That's what was going on in Genesis chapter 6. The sons of God wanted to mingle their seed with other nations that was not appointed. Other nations that God did not choose. And you're going to find out them sons of God eventually came to be the Israelites. Those sons of God eventually became to be the Israelites. Guys, so I gave you a quick recap on that. You understand? Now this is a long breakdown. And I just gave you a quick recap on it. I just gave you a quick recap on it. A quick version of it, because this is a long breakdown. You see what I'm saying? Now, for those of you that still want to say that I don't believe this, brother, I believe in Genesis chapter 6 that the angels did come down and have sex with the daughters of man. Well, let me tell you, the angels, they don't have sex. You know why? Because the angels, they don't even have the mind to do such of a thing. Right. Let me show you what the angels do in the heavens. Let me show you what the angels' occupation. Well, let me show you what the angels' agenda is. Give me Psalms 103, verse 20, and we're going to show you what the angels do in heaven. The angels ain't got time. Purpose of an angel. Yeah, what the hell, what the purpose of an angel coming down to have sex with women for? Let me show you what angels' agenda are. Let me show you what their obligation is in the heavens. They don't have time to be coming down here knocking the boots. Right. Why in the hell would an angel want to do that?
That lets you know how wicked the white man mind is.
Yeah, that lets you know how wicked the so-called white man mind is. Which are you Edomites. You cook up all these strange doctrines and these religions, and you give it to us, and we fall for the bullshit.
movies and books and
Yeah, you give us these Hollywood films, these movies, and all these books. You show us things like this. Let me show you. The white man is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of. He don't dumb us down enough by showing us many different images and movies, got us believing that this actually happened when this ain't even talking about angels. Let me show you. See? You look in these books like this. You see this? This is a Jehovah Witness book. You can live forever in paradise on earth. This is Jehovah Witness book. You look in these books right here. They got you believing this nonsense. The angelic sons of God. Notice the daughters of man. So you can see now the Jehovah Witness. So they claim that there was angelic creatures in the heaven, right? And they claim that the angels was looking down from heaven on the daughters of man.
lusting after.
So they claim that there was angels in heaven that was looking down on the daughters of man. Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me angels in heaven, they be getting aroused looking down on daughters of man? You mean to tell me the angels in heaven they get on hard, they get aroused? You mean to tell me the angels in heaven, they peckerize up and they be looking down from the clouds on the daughters of man? You mean to tell me that's what angels be doing in the heavens? Because if that's so, I don't want to be a goddamn angel. And if that's so, I don't want no goddamn angel to look over me. I'm going to tell you right now. Because the angels, they are guardian spirits. The angels supposed to guard you, protect you, and look over you throughout the day. Now, how in the hell you gonna look over me and my relatives if you too damn busy in the heavens thinking about screwing a woman on the earth? How in the hell you supposed to be being how in the hell you my guardian angel, but you too damn busy in the heavens thinking about a piece of ass and titties?
Come on, man.
That shows you the white man is wicked as hell, man.
Yeah.
He gave you all these diverse religions and stuff, man. You understand? So look at here right there, man.
Wow.
You see that? It says the angelic sons of God notice the daughters of man. You really believe that happened? You really think that there was angels in heaven looking down, praying upon the daughters of man to see which one they was going to have sex with? Do you really believe it? Now, angels don't have time to be lusted in the heavens. Angels don't have time to be thinking about a piece of ass or to be thinking about some titties in the heavens. Angels don't have time for that. We're going to show you what angels' obligations, we're going to show you what their agenda is in the heavens. So bring that scripture out, sis.
All right. Psalm 104, verse 4.
This is Psalms 104. This is Psalms 104 verse 4, and it tells you what the angels do in the heavens. They don't lust in the heavens. They don't think about jumping on women and having sex with women. Watch this. Psalms 104 verse 4. Go ahead.
Who maketh his angels spirits.
Wait a minute. I went to the camera club. Who maketh his angels spirits. Go ahead.
His ministers of flaming fire.
His minister of flaming fire. Let's see. So we going over the obligations of angels. And let's see where that's at. This is Psalms 103. No. Wait a minute, guys. Let me get this verse. I'm going to show you that angels don't think about having sex. Psalms 103 verse 20. Psalms 103 verse 20.
Okay. 103 verse 20.
This is Psalms 103 verse 20. Read that.
Bless the Lord, ye his angels that excel in strength.
So the angels excel in strength. Go ahead.
That do his commandments.
No, the angels lust after women in heaven.
That do his commandments.
No, the angels is sitting in heaven thinking about a piece of ass.
That do his commandments.
The angels are sitting in heaven thinking about some titties to suck.
That do his commandments.
The angels are sitting in heaven thinking about sexually procreating with the daughters of man.
That do his commandments.
That do his commandments. Go ahead.
Hearkening unto the voice of his word.
That's what the angels do in the heavens. This is Psalms 103.
Verse 20.
Verse 20. Bless the Lord, ye all his angels, that excel in strength, that do his commandments. So guess what? The angels are not in heaven. Let me tell you something, guys. The angelic creation, the angels are not in heaven thinking about a piece of ass. The angels are not in heaven looking down from heaven thinking about ass to jump on. You understand? The angels don't do that. The angels keep God's commandments. The angels excel in strength. The angels are celestial beings that operate in infinite power. They don't have time to think about some titties and ass. They don't have time for that. You see what I'm saying? So the so-called white man, the same man that gave you religion and gave you Christianity, he's wicked as hell. He's a goddamn devil. And guess what he taught you? Guess what the white man taught you? He taught you this bull crap.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? He taught you that. He told you that. That's where you learn that from. You learn that from religion of the slave master. The white man taught you religion and Christianity. You see what he taught you, that the angels are white. The angels are not even white people. But you learn that from the oppressor. You learn that from your slave master. So the white man taught us in Christianity that there was angels that looked down from heaven, and they was looking upon the daughters of man, lusting to see which woman they wanted, and that they came down, these angels came down from the heavens, and guess what? They took the daughters of man, and guess what they did? They had sex with them and created children.
Lust for the flip. They lusting from heaven. Come on.
That's what the white man taught us, along with his religion and Christianity. Now, we grew up in the Christian church believing this stuff. Believing that, oh, the angels...
Fell from heaven.
The angels fell down from heaven and came to the earth to have sex with the daughters of man. Crazy, man. You see what I'm saying, guys?
Stop watching those Christian movies, y'all.
God dang. It's messed up, man.
You know, Christian books. That's what's messing our minds up. Our people's minds up. Stop watching those movies.
Stop watching.
Throw them Christian movies away.
See that? Because that's what's messing us up. Now, I'm going to show you guys something else. Go to 1 Corinthians 15:39. They still want to say that angels drop down from heaven and start having sex with the daughters of man. You understand? That's a damn lie. Angels don't need to have sex with nobody because they infinite power. They are celestial beings. The only time you need to have sex if you terrestrial. See, we need to have sex because we are three-dimensional. We are third-dimensional beings. So we need to have sex. Why do me and my wife need to have sex? Because we don't live forever. So guess what? Me and my wife can live on through our children. So what we do, we would sexually procreate to leave behind seed. We would sexually procreate to live on through our children because we don't live forever. Now, if you are an angel, that means that you have infinite power. That means you have eternity. That means that you cannot die. That means that you have everlasting power. That means that you excel in strength. So if you are an angelic being, why in the hell do you need to sexually procreate?
There's no need.
If you are everlasting, angels are everlasting. So why in the hell do they need to come to earth to sexually procreate? That's stupid as hell. Come on. This is 1 Corinthians 15:39. So sis is going to grab 1 Corinthians 15:39.
All right.
Man, stop with this fallen angel crap. Ain't no angels fell from heaven and had sex with the daughters of man. You just don't. Genesis chapter 6 said they was not angels. Genesis chapter 6 said sons of God. This is 1 Corinthians 15:39.
1 Corinthians 15.
1 Corinthians 15:39. Watch this. Read that.
All flesh is not the same.
All flesh is not the same. Go ahead.
All flesh is not the same flesh.
Uh-huh.
But there is one kind of flesh of man, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds.
Okay, so all flesh is not the same. So that means even if an angel tried to have sex with a terrestrial being, that cannot be because all flesh is not the same. Now it's going into the angels. This is 1 Corinthians 15, verse 40. Read that.
There are also celestial bodies.
Now, what is celestial bodies? Celestial bodies is angelic bodies. Go ahead.
And bodies terrestrial.
Now, what is terrestrial bodies? Terrestrial bodies is human beings like us. So 1 Corinthians 15:40 says, there are also celestial bodies, which are heavenly angels, and there are also bodies terrestrial, which are human beings like us. Go ahead.
But the glory of the celestial is one.
So what is the glory of the celestial? The glory of the celestial is to excel in strength and have infinite power and keep the commandments. That's the glory of the celestial. Go ahead.
And the glory of the terrestrial is another.
What is the glory of the terrestrial? What is the glory of human beings? What is the glory of the terrestrial? What is the glory of human beings? Because terrestrial means earthly. So what is the glory of terrestrial? The glory of the terrestrial is sexual procreation, having sex, intimate. That's what that means. So it tells you in 1 Corinthians 15:40, there are heavenly bodies as celestial bodies, and there are also humanistic bodies as terrestrial bodies. It says the glory of the celestial bodies, which are the heavenly bodies, is one. Now, the glory of the heavenly bodies is excelling in strength, infinite power, and keeping the commandments. And the glory of the terrestrial bodies, which is humanistic bodies like we have, the glory of the terrestrial bodies is sexual procreation. So guess what? You have two different planes there. The celestial beings don't need to sexually procreate because they excel in strength, they infinite power, and they keep the commandments. So an angel don't need to come down and knock the boots. An angel don't need to open your legs and have sex. What? Come on, man. What? Come on, man. Why in the hell do an angel need to have sex with a woman for? Think about that, guys. Why? You see what I'm saying? But that's what religion taught us. That's what the white man religion taught us. That's what the white man Christian religion taught us. We ain't Christians. We ain't religious. We spiritual. We the Hebrew Israelites. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We are the Jews the Bible speaks of. We the Hebrews. We not falling for the white man religion, his lies and his philosophy. He taught us that crap coming up in church. Now we going around telling others, oh, don't you know the angels fell from heaven? There was fallen angels. They fell from heaven and they had sex with the daughters of man and created giants.
And they still fall.
That's bull crap. That's madness. That's bull crap. So guys, I don't want to hold you guys up any longer, man. Like, man, it's just so much stuff. I can go on and on about these angels, man. You know what I'm saying? The angels don't need to do that, guys. What's going on in Genesis chapter 6 is the sons of God is mingling their holy seed with other nations who God told them not to do that. You understand? Now, that's all going on like the Israelites. The Israelites intermingled with many nations that God told them not to do. Like, for instance, like you had King Solomon, you know what I'm saying? Where's that at when it says where's that it said King Solomon sinned by sleeping with women of other nations? Where's that at? When it says Solomon sinned, you know what I'm talking about? Where is that at? I believe it's talking about let's see. It says Solomon sinned by doing these things. Let's see. And it's First Kings. Try First Kings 14:21. It's a lot, guys. I got a slight mucus build up, so try First Kings 14:21. What that says?
No, that's Rehoboam. The rest of Acts.
First Kings 14:21.
21.
Yeah, First Kings 14:21.
It says, and Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, reigned in Judah.
Where does that say when it said, did not Solomon sin by doing these things? What's that in that was in It said Solomon sinned because he took upon strange women. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find it.
I don't have.
Is that in try Ezra? Try Ezra chapter 9 verse 1. Try Ezra. It says something about Solomon sin because King Solomon, you know what I'm saying, he married many foreign women that was outside of his nation. You understand? And he was not supposed to do that. That's what's basically going on in Genesis chapter 6.
He said Ezra what?
Try Ezra chapter 9 verse 1. Try that. Ezra chapter 9 verse 1.
It says, now when these, I'm read it out.
Because it was like did not King Solomon sin by doing these things. But I can't find it, guys, man. I can't find it, but it's somewhere it talks about King Solomon committed sin because he married foreign women and God told him not to do that. So that's what's basically going on in Genesis chapter 6 when the sons of God took the daughters of man. Damn. So I can find that. Did not Solomon sin by doing these things. It said that somewhere, guys. So you can see, we see Garrett Stanley say, how y'all doing, man? Shalom. We see we doing good, my brother. We see, thank you for tuning in. Lakeland, Michelle, Martin, Sarah Myers, Matthew Dot Anderson, Patricia Toon, Joshua Bussey, Shelton, Terry, Aaron Walker Jr. We trying to get this verse where it said that King Solomon sinned because King Solomon was a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah, and what he did was the Israelites was not supposed to marry other nations. You know, they was not supposed to. The Israelite men was not supposed to take upon other Gentile nations women, and Solomon did that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to show you this to let you see this is what actually going on in Genesis chapter 6. Ain't no fallen angels taking the daughters of man in the 6th chapter of Genesis. The sons of God, they were the descendants of Seth that was not supposed to mingle their holy seed among the other women. Just like the Most High told Israel not to mingle their holy seed among other nations. Where it say that at?
Nehemiah.
That's in Nehemiah. What now?
20. Nehemiah 13.
Nehemiah 13 and what now?
They gotta be 26.
Okay. Start with Nehemiah 13 and 23. We'll close it out with this. Okay. Start with Nehemiah 13, 23 and read all the way down to 27 verse. Watch this.
It says,
wait a minute. Nehemiah 13, start with 23rd verse and read down to 27.
In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab.
So Nehemiah said in those days, Nehemiah say the Jews, we are the Jews today, guys. We are the Jews, the Israelites. Nehemiah said in his time he saw Jews that had married strange women. They had married wives of Ashdod. Ashdod is African women. You understand? So Jews had married African women. Ammon, those are Japanese today. Jews had married Japanese women. And when they say Moab, those are the modern day Chinese people today. So Ashdod, which are the Africans, Ammon, which are the Japanese today, and Moab, which are the Chinese. You can see that the Jews back in the time of Nehemiah, they had married African women, they married Japanese women, and also they married Chinese women. The Jews was not supposed to do that. The Jews supposed to marry women within their own nation because God is against interracial marriage. So Nehemiah the prophet, he had to check these Jews up by doing that. Now read Nehemiah chapter, where you at?
Chapter 13.
Chapter 13, verse 24. Read that.
And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people.
Now go on down.
Verse 25. And I contended with them.
Nehemiah said, that was off limits. Nehemiah said he contended with the Jews because the Jews know damn well they are not supposed to marry other women from other nations. See, we are the Jews today, brothers and sisters. Let me tell you something. You see, we are the Jews today, and God is against interracial marriage. Now, I know you've been taught something else in America. God hates interracial marriage because we being the Israelites, we are the Jews today. We are the Israelites. Israelites are not supposed to marry foreign women. You understand? We ain't supposed to go out and have kids from a Chinese woman, have kids from a Japanese woman, have kids from an African woman, have kids from an East Indian woman, have kids from an Arab woman, have kids from a Russian woman, have kids from a German woman, have kids from a Spaniard woman. We not supposed to be having children and intermingling with other nations because God is against interracial marriage. So over and over and over and over again in the Bible, God is telling the Israelites not to intermingle with other nations. That is exactly what's going on in Genesis chapter 6 when it says the sons of God took the daughters of man who they chose. The sons of God was not supposed to intermingle their holy seed with other nations. That's what brought upon the destruction upon these people in Genesis chapter 6, because they was not supposed to mingle their holy seed. Just like the Israelites was not supposed to mingle their holy seed with other nations, the sons of God was not supposed to mingle their holy seed with other nations in Genesis chapter 6. So, once again, guys, we are in Nehemiah, the 13th chapter. Verse what?
Verse 25.
Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 25.
And I contended with them and cursed them.
See, Nehemiah cursed their ass out. Nehemiah was getting on them Jews. Go ahead.
And smote certain of them.
And smote certain of them. Go ahead.
And plucked off their hair.
And plucked off their hair. Go ahead.
And made them swear by God, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons.
See, Nehemiah said the Israelites was not supposed to give their daughters unto these other nations. Go ahead.
Nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves.
See that? So you see what Nehemiah said? Nehemiah told the Israelite men that they was not supposed to give their daughters into other nations. You see what I'm saying? That's what Nehemiah was telling the Israelites. He told the Israelite men that they was not supposed to give their daughters to other nations because God is against interracial marriage. God chose us as the nation of Israel to be a holy people. He do not want us going out marrying other nations because these other nations are pagans. These other nations are heathens. These other nations have their false gods and their idols. God never wanted the nation of Israel to go outside and marry other nations. So if you are Israelite today, which are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, if you are Israelite today, you don't supposed to be going out marrying other nations. I'm an Israelite. I'm from the tribe of Judah. That means I don't supposed to go out and get a white woman because white women, the white people are Edomites. The Israelites are not supposed to marry Edomite women. Israelite men are not supposed to marry Edomite women. Edomite woman is white woman. Israelite men are not supposed to marry Ishmaelite woman. Ishmaelite woman is Arab woman, the Arabs. Israelite men are not supposed to marry Moabite woman. The Moabite woman are Chinese. Israelite men are not supposed to marry Ammonite woman. The Ammonite woman today are Japanese woman. Israelite men are not supposed to marry Hamitic woman. The Hamitic woman today is African woman. Israelite men are not supposed to marry Kittimite woman. The Kittimite woman is Italy today, Rome. Israelite men are not supposed to marry Elamite woman. The Elamite woman today is the East Indians. So we're not supposed to be marrying these other women. God is against interracial marriage. We're not supposed to be marrying these other women. If you are Israelite, you got to marry a woman within your nation. If you are Israelite, you got to marry a woman within your nation. God is against interracial marriage, and that's exactly what was going on in Genesis chapter 6. When you read in Genesis chapter 6, it don't have nothing to do with fallen angels coming down and having sex with the daughters of man. No. These in Genesis chapter 6 were the sons of God. They were the sons of God. They were the descendants of Seth that eventually strayed away from the covenants. Eventually, they strayed away from the commandments of God, and they chose to mingle their holy seed with other women that was not of their nation. That's what is going on in Genesis chapter 6. All right, guys, so I'm going to just say the rest of this, and I'm going to close it out. Nehemiah 13:26. Nehemiah 13:26. Nehemiah 13:26. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? See that? Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? You see, because King Solomon took strange women from other nations. Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God. And God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish woman cause the sin. Because it's telling you that King Solomon married foreign women and God told him not to do that. So if you want to know what's going on in Genesis chapter 6, I'm going to give you for the last time. In Genesis chapter 6, if you want to know what's going on is interracial marriage. The sons of God, the descendants of self, all the descendants that came from self, which was Adam and Eve, third son. All the descendants of self, which was known as the sons of God, they started marrying, having sex with other nations of women outside of their nation. That's what is going on in Genesis chapter 6. There's no fallen angels falling from no heavens. Come on, man. But that's the bull crap we've been taught with this religion, man. You understand? For the last time. Genesis chapter 6. And it came to pass when man began to multiply on the face of the earth. This is Genesis chapter 6. And daughters was born unto them. Genesis chapter 6 verse 2. That the sons of God, it said sons of God. It never said angels. It said sons of God. The sons of God were the descendants of Seth. Adam and Eve, third son. All his descendants. The sons of God saw the daughters of man. The daughters of man are women from the other nations that the sons of God, the descendants of Seth, was not supposed to marry and have sex with. That they were fair and they took them wives of all which they chose. And that is nothing but interracial marriage. In Genesis 6 and 3. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not strive with man. See, that ain't got nothing to do with angels. He said, my spirit shall not strive with man, for that he is also flesh. See, angels are not flesh. Angels are celestial beings. It says, yet his days shall be 120 years. So God put an expiration date on man. So you can see this is not the angels. This is talking about man. You see what I'm saying? Genesis chapter 6 verse 4. There was giants in the earth in those days. It's not talking about it's not talking about giants as in, it's not talking about giants as in stature. It's not talking about like giants as in tallness. It's not talking about that. When it says there was giants in the earth in those days, they're talking about those was men of renown. They was very skillful men. They was mighty men. You understand? Like you would say like Michael Jordan. You would say Michael Jordan is a giant in basketball. You understand? Like you would say Tiger Woods is a giant in golf. You could say Venus and Serena are giants in tennis. You could say that Bruce Lee was a giant in martial arts. You feel me? Or you can say what else? You could say Kendrick Lamar is a giant in the rap industry. That means these are very exceptional men. They was very skillful and talented. That's what it means in Genesis chapter 6 verse 4. It says there was giants in the earth in those days. And also after that when the sons of God came into the daughters of man. When the Sethites, the descendants of Seth, when they intermingled their seeds with other nations, they created intelligent men and women. You understand? They became mighty men and men of renown. So that's what it's talking about, guys. I think I don't stated my claim. I don't made myself pretty clear. If you don't get it, I don't know what to tell you. But Genesis chapter 6 is not talking about angels that fell down and had sexual relations with daughters of man on the earth. So we appreciate you, Gary Stanley. We appreciate you, Lakeland, Martin, Sarah Myers, Matthew Dow Anderson, Patricia Toon, Joshua Bussey, Shelty Friend, Terry Johnson, Joshua Bussey, Aaron Walker. Appreciate you guys. But now you know when you read Genesis the 6th chapter, it's not talking about fallen angels. Peace, much love, and respect to you guys. I'll see you in the next one.